Welcome to Fidelity Local 6. I'm Wes Moore, joined by Kevin Kelly, head coach of the Pulaski Academy Bruins, and we will be previewing the state championship game with all the head coaches over the rest of this week. We're going to start with PA and the 5A state championship, and it's a rematch, Pulaski Academy and McClellan. Coaches say it's always tough to beat a team twice. Is that the challenge for you guys this week since you've already played McClellan once and beat McClellan?
Yeah, I think it's always a challenge, like you say, to beat a team twice in the same season. Especially because, number one, they've got a little different attitude. They want a little revenge, so maybe they practice a little harder, spend a little extra time, those types of things. The second thing is they probably did more things wrong than we did because we won. So they know they've got more things to fix, different ways to attack, and the team that wins is kind of on the other end of that and maybe in a peculiar situation when it comes to that type thing. So, both those things kind of factor in, and I think that's why it's tougher to beat the same team twice. But we're looking forward to it. The other thing is playing a state championship game, you're kind of playing yourself too in some ways because, there's the big stadium and the mystique of a championship and things like that. And hopefully our kids being here last year, the majority of them, hopefully that'll factor in and give us an advantage in that area.
You guys have never won back-to-back state championships. You've won numerous championships, but never back-to-back. How big was that this year? Was that a goal? Was that something you talked about?
Really our only goal is state championship. That's what we said at the beginning of the year, and we actually said it back in December after the last game's over with. And that's all we talk about. We don't talk about conference. We don't talk about an individual opponent. We don't talk about any things like that. We say take care of that individual thing game by game, and the rest will take care of itself. I mean, obviously when you get to a certain week, a goal is to take care of a Highland Park and break their streak. And then when you get into conference, you say, hey, we want to go undefeated in conference. We've got a long streak in conference, a winning streak. So, there are small goals, but we don't talk about a lot of things except for the state championship. And, to have a chance to go back-to-back, we do talk about where we'll talk about this week, our seniors leaving that legacy, being the first class to ever go back-to-back. So for them, that's a really big deal. And obviously anytime you've got a chance to win a championship, that's a big deal too.
We always talk about your offense, the onside kicks, no punting, whatever. The defense. I was really impressed with the defense against Little Rock Christian. Basically, your defense shut them out. They scored on a turnover. Tell us about your defense this year and how they've been able to do things like that and shut out Little Rock Christian.
It's just a characteristic of football. It's a passion of football to watch those teams nowadays. It's in vogue, the teams that score a lot and do a lot of things. And so it's natural for them to see and look at our offense. But I've said all along for this year, not just this year, last year, if you look at what they did in the state championship game last year, setting a state record for sacks in a game and that kind of thing, we're really good on defense. We always have been. And our three defensive coaches, Todd Wood, Jason White, Madison Taylor, do a great job scheming, preparing their individual players. And they've been lights out the entire year. And in times when our offense is struggling or, we give them short fields and we don't get the onside kick or we don't make a fourth down and give them the other team the ball on our own 20-yard line or whatever, those guys have to step it up. And people don't understand how much pressure that they're under from this type of play. But to do that and to give them the ball in tough situations and be able to shut teams out like Little Rock Christian, and let Bologna score only 6 points. It's been scoring all year and do those types of things. They're just I couldn't be more proud, but they're so underrated that they can definitely win a game for us, even if we have a really bad day on offense.
Your running back, Watkins, Jaron Watkins, love watching him. Is he the fastest guy on the field every night, or is it just because those little legs are just moving? He looks that fast. How fast is he?
He's a fast kid. He's a really fast kid, but he's not the fastest on the field. But it looks like that because his legs are moving so fast. Now his legs are moving faster than anybody else on the field, but he takes sort of short steps. But those short strides are what enables him to keep his balance and able to cut faster and change direction without slowing down. And he's a fast kid. He's a 4.4 kid for sure. But we got one or two that are faster than him. But he's definitely fast enough. 4.4 is really fast. But he's fast enough where nobody catches him when he gets in the open field, that's for sure.
All right, Maurice Moody, McClellan, it's been a heck of a story. What a turnaround there. What have you seen out of McClellan, the difference in them this year from what you saw in years past?
Each year Coach Moody's gotten there, they've become a little more disciplined. McClellan's always had a lot of talent. They've always had a lot of speed and size, and they do this year. This year what he did was he put in an offense where he made sure he was getting the ball for sure to his guys that could score from anywhere on the field. In the past, they've kind of spread it around, done some things, and this year he's making sure they're they're doing just that. He also has done a good job on defense of discovering a true identity and saying this is what we do. And anytime you get kids, and he's done a good job of getting kids to buy in. You get them to buy into football. They've been a basketball school for the last few years over there. They've won state championships in basketball, and to get them to buy in, that's another thing that he's done that has really turned the program around. I'm glad to see another championship caliber team here in Little Rock, because Central Arkansas used to be known as great football, and everybody thinks about Northwest Arkansas. But I'd put McClellan up against anybody, and they're going to have a good chance to win.
What's they say about the Central?
Yeah,
5A Central.
Yeah, the 5A Central. We've heard it for years. Everybody say, well, PA's the only team in there that's any good, and y'all don't ever have to beat anybody, and this kind of stuff. And and going into the playoffs, I thought we had a really good shot at going 4-0. And our 4 teams all played really well, and maybe had a real good shot to win their first round game, and at least go 3-1. And then McClellan, I knew they were going to be good. I had a feeling they might be in the finals, and they even said that after they played us. They said, we'll see you in the championship, which I thought was very forward-thinking, but I love the confidence. But now when you look and you go 2 teams from the 5A Central in the finals, I don't think anybody can say that the 5A Central is weak anymore for sure.
It's Kevin Kelly, head coach at the Pulaski Academy Bruins. We'll have more coaches throughout the week on Fidelity Local 6.